Yes, guys. Welcome back to another stream. Manchester City want Eze. That is according to Tommy, the real Tommy of Twitter and Blue Moon Forum. He's got a lot of stuff right in the past, and he's saying Manchester City are going on to Eze. Now, we watched Eze some of us watched Eze last night for Crystal Palace against Arsenal. It's quite funny, actually, because we spent most of the stream saying how bad he played last night. In my opinion, I don't think he had a particularly good game. However, to be fair, there are some other people who think he played well last night. And then he come out and said Manchester City are looking at potentially signing Eze. So what we're going to do in this stream, first of all, that's a little disclaimer. So if you don't think Tom is a real source or whatever, or you think this is pointless, there you go. I get it out now, so you don't have to spend the next 40 minutes listening to this and listening and watching this stream. What we're going to do in this stream, we're going to check out his stats. We're going to check out his numbers. We've got an Ilkay Gundogan versus Eze comparison stat by stat to see how similar he is to Ilkay Gundogan. And we're going to check out his injury history as well, because he has an injury or two. So there's lots to get through. Before we do, guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Channel's flying at the moment, getting loads of subscribers. If you smash the likes, it helps other fans find my channel. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well if you're new. And big up to all my YouTube members. The link is in the description and pinned comment. If you want to help support me make this content, the best way to do that is by becoming a YouTube channel member and becoming part of the squad. So I massively appreciate all the guys who are members. Right, let's start off with Tommy's sort of leak last night. I call it leak. I don't know what else to sort of call it. Here it is. So this is what he put out last night. From a respected source and a couple of subsequent checks, it has wings, Eagles, naturally, a very legitimate option. Palace would want Paqueta money, probably more than £90 million. Eze does it Blues. So Tommy suggesting that Manchester City are interested. He's not saying, he's only saying it's an option. He's not saying we're 100% going for him. But it seems that his information, Manchester City are looking at Eze as a potential option, which is exactly what he says there. Some issues. First of all, do you even want Eze at Manchester City? Well, there's a poll currently in the live chat. So if you've not had a vote already, have your vote in the live chat. And two, 90 million quid. Is that justified? Is that fair? Seems a lot of money to me. We'll go into his injury history and stats to see exactly whether or not we think that is justifiable. But like I said, make sure you have your vote in the poll, because I want to know what you guys are saying. Currently, over 250 people in the stream. We've only had 150 votes, so keep your votes coming. But let's take a look at his transfer market information. So he's contracted until 2025. So only 2 years left on his contract. So straight away to me, 2 years left on his contract. £90 million seems like a lot of money for a guy with only 2 years left on his contract. However, we'll go into his stats and we'll see, and maybe the stats will sort of prove us wrong. And of course, I do get it, by the way. It's not all about stats, right? But unless you want us to just sit here and watch every single minute Eze has ever played on a football pitch, this is kind of the only sort of way we'll do it. I will do a reaction video to his best goals and moments, like you guys have been liking the Jamie Doku one and stuff. So I will do that. But for now, we'll just go on. We'll just go off the stats. Okay, these are his stats for this season. Not a whole lot to go off. 2 games played. No goals or assists yet. I didn't think he particularly had a good game yesterday. I didn't. We did the watch along. We watched it last night, Arsenal versus Crystal Palace. And I personally just don't think he played very well. Now, of course, it might just be a one-off game. I didn't see Palace in the first game, so I can't comment on that. I'm only giving you my opinion based on last night. And of course, he is playing for a Palace side that isn't full of creativity, and playing under Hodgson, and he's playing against one of the best teams in the country. I can only tell you what I thought. Weird, because there are people on Twitter who were discussing it this morning who thought he played well last night. So very interesting. Obviously, football opinions are crazy. Like, I can say I don't think he played well. Someone else can say he thought he had a good game. So very strange. But yeah, let's get back into his stats here. And let's go into last season. So last season, played every single game in the Premier League, but obviously if you look at the minutes, he was subbed on and subbed off quite a bit. He got 10 goals and 4 assists. I think that's decent. I think that's decent, because if you remember as well, he was playing under the Vieira team, which basically didn't really have a particularly good time in creating. I think they went was it 3 games in a row that they didn't even manage to have a shot on target. So it wasn't particularly great. And 10 goals and 4 assists, that was pretty impressive. He played 2,644 minutes. That gives him a goal or an assist every 188 minutes last year. I don't think that's particularly bad, you know. It's only, what, an extra sort of 40 minutes on some of the other players we've looked at, like the Paquetas and the Verts of this world. And he's playing for, I would say, a more sort of defensive team. So, yeah, I think they're pretty decent numbers. If we go back the year before, this is why we need to check some of the injury record out, because he only managed to play 19 games and only played 1,000 minutes. So we will go into his injuries after we've checked a couple more years of his stats and numbers. 2020, 2021, similar numbers to in terms of minutes played to last year. 2,700 minutes played, 34 games played in the Premier League with 4 goals and 6 assists. 2,600 minutes. If we do the maths on that. That gives us a goals and assists per minute of 260. So not the best in the world. Not great, to be honest with you. But again, he's playing for Palace. Year before that, he is playing in the Championship, but he's putting up some very respectable numbers there. What's that? 22 goal involvements in 46 games. That is very good, but of course it is in the Championship, so I understand that some people might take that with a pinch of salt. This is the thing, Gary. I completely agree. Like, this is why when you look at stats, I like looking at stats because I think it's important to see if the guys can score or provide assists on a regular basis. I think if you look at the full season, sort of tells you the story. However, you can't just go off that and say that is the be all and end all. Do you know what I mean? Because ultimately, he's playing for a team that was very, very poor going forward. Like they had that 12-game stretch where they didn't win a single game under Vieira. I think it was 3 games. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if someone can confirm in the chat, but was it 3 games in a row that they failed to have a shot on target, Crystal Palace, last year under Vieira? The Palace fans were not happy with the brand of football. So obviously, if you're an attacking player, that is going to have some detriment on your sort of play because you're playing in a sort of negative team. So yeah, it's a difficult one. I want to come on to his injuries as well, because I like checking the injuries out. First of all, big up to Dan Roman becoming a YouTube channel member. Welcome to the squad. Big up to Dan. Massively appreciate the support, bro. And links in the description if anyone else wants to get on it, man. Big up to Dan. Right, should we check out his injury record? Why was he? I've not checked this, by the way. I want to get I want to get the initial reaction on screen. So this was the injury that set him out. So he's only had 3 injuries. And can you call these 2 injuries a groin where he's out for a day? Do you know what I mean? What is that? A knock. He was out for 3 days. So he's basically had 1 injury in his career. However, it was a bad one. It was an Achilles tendon problem. Achilles tendon problem. Should we Google that? Should we Google it? So it is. Achilles tendinopathy is an injury to the band of tissue that connects the muscles in your lower leg to your heel bone. You may get pain, stiffness, and sometimes swelling around your heel. It is a common injury, especially if you're very active or do lots of sports. So something to do with his ankle, basically. But it was a bad one, man. Basically missed half a season. 26 games missed there. Not particularly great. But of course, we've seen a lot worse injury records than that. Yes, it's not a particularly good injury. He was out for half a season, but he's only one sort of one injury that he's had. So, listen, it's a very interesting one, this Eze one. I don't know where I am. I don't know where I am with it. £90 million seems a hell of a lot of money. And I didn't think he was particularly great last night. I thought he lacked quality in the final third. But one thing that I would say that I thought he did quite well is he gets on the ball, he gets in good positions, he tried to link up with his attacking players. And of course, again, if he's playing with better players last night, would he look better? Probably. So again, it's a little bit like I've got to try and separate some of the stuff that he did, which was poor, like some of his crossing I thought was poor, but then some of the stuff where he was trying to link up and play some 1-2s, and you know he's playing with players that are not as good as Manchester City players, just naturally because he's playing for Palace. It's no dig at Palace, it's just obviously a fact of the situation. Would he have looked better? Probably. But for 90 million quid, that which of course isn't confirmed. That's just basically what Tom is hearing at the moment. And do you know what I mean? His own bio in his Twitter, on his Twitter page says he gets some stuff wrong, and of course he's getting the information from someone else. So probably more than 90 million seems, for me, I would rather have had Paqueta at 85 million. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It seems interesting. It seems interesting. Remember, guys, there is a poll in the chat. 300 people have voted. There's 350 people in the stream. Guys, make sure you drop a like, by the way. Only 100 likes, 350 people watching right now. Let's get those likes up, man. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. I can tell you now, the poll, there isn't a large majority, so keep your votes coming in, and we'll check it out at the end of the stream. But keep your votes coming in on the poll if you've not voted. There is no large majority; it's very, very split at the moment. But one thing I wanted to show you, there's a guy on Twitter called Gaz, and he posts some good stuff on there from time to time. And I'm gonna share something that he's posted today, and it's very interesting. You guys should definitely give him a follow, man. Big up Gaz, FMWKD Soul. Go give this guy a follow. And he's put this on screen, which is Eze. I don't know if you can see this properly, because it's like a long. That's as much as I can zoom in, unfortunately, guys. I'll go through it basically, but hopefully you can. Maybe if you're watching on a phone, you're probably not going to be able to see it, so I will read it out. But effectively, it's an Eze versus Gundogan comparison, and that is as most as I can zoom in. So I'll leave it on screen, but I get that some of you might not be able to see it. So if you look at sort of the stats between Eze and Gundogan, the stats are very, very similar. Goals, getting very similar goals, getting very similar assists. G&A, very similar there as well. If you look at expected goals, Eze and Gundogan, very, very close. It's an incredible, it's actually quite stunning how similar the numbers are. It's incredibly stunning. Like I say, you might not be able to see it because it's a lengthward photo, so I can't zoom in anymore. But if you go and check out Gaz on Twitter, you'll be able to see it properly. But the numbers are extraordinarily similar. Extraordinarily similar. There's I think there's some more stuff here as well. Yeah, we got some like defensive stuff here, which you might be able to see a little bit better, to be fair. That looks a little bit better. These are defensive actions. So again, Eze makes more tackles per game than Gundogan, makes more challenges per game. He's got a better tackle percentage recovery than Gundogan. He makes more blocks than Gundogan. Now, of course, you would say that, to be fair, Gundogan is playing in a team that has more of the ball. He doesn't need to make as many tackles and sort of that sort of stuff. But I guess it's nice to see. And then what's this? I think this is, these are like, again, these are more attacking stats again. So you're looking at goals. Eze has a better goals per game ratio. Shots on target is slightly below Ilkay Gundogan's at 35.7% as opposed to 37.7%. He has more shots on goal than Gundogan per 90 minute, but again, not too far away. Expected goals, again, everything is very, very similar. Now, I'm not for 1 second, by the way, suggesting that Eze is anywhere near the level of Ilkay Gundogan, but the stats are obviously very similar. And again, I know some people will watch this and not really into the stats, and that's cool. I get it. Stats are not for everyone, but it's very interesting. So, guys, go and check it. If you want to see them stats in more detail, go on Gaz's Twitter page at FMWKD Soul, or you can just go on FB Ref if you wanted to do it yourself. But listen, it's an interesting one. Someone in the chat just then said, "LB, what do you think? Where would you vote? Do you want Eze at Manchester City?" Do I want Eze at Manchester City? I want a player at Manchester City. I want someone who can create at Manchester City. I think Eze, from what I've seen, has the potential to be a very good player at Manchester City. However, it is, in my opinion, it's more of a gamble than someone like Lucas Paqueta. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad signing. I think Eze could come into Manchester City and do very well. You know what I mean? He looks very good on the ball. He's strong. He's powerful. He can carry the ball. He can get goals. He can get assists. We've seen that with his numbers. His stats are similar to Gundogan's. However, I do think he's more raw than someone like a Paqueta. I think if Paqueta come into Manchester City, I think Paqueta would come in and he'd just fit there very nicely. Eze might need a bit of time. He might not need a bit of time, but I think he might need a bit of time. From watching him last night and really sort of focusing on him for the 90 minutes, he looks like he needs someone to sort of coach him. He just looks a bit raw. What I might do is I might get a Crystal Palace fan on a stream and get them to sort of talk about him and get their sort of opinions on him, because I think that might be the best way to go. Do I want Eze at Manchester City, to answer your question? Yes, but 90 million is a lot of money. Like, he's not worth 90 million in my opinion. He's not. I don't think he's worth more than sort of 60, to be honest. But it's the way the world's gone, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's the way the transfer market is gone. Should I care? Should I care about the money? It's not my money. It's the club's money. If the club think he's worth it, then the club think he's worth it. But at the same time, could that money be better spent elsewhere? If we're going to spend 90 million on Eze, should they not look at maybe a Florian Wirtz? Should they not just go and get Dani Olmo and pay them a little bit more than what they want? They're the sort of questions that I'm asking myself. Now, of course, at the moment, it is early days. And as we discussed yesterday, I'm pretty sure City right now, I've got a list of targets for this centre mid position, and they're just going through one by one and deciding sort of which one is going to be better for value, for long-term growth, for instant impact versus maybe need a couple of seasons. Don't know. It's a difficult one, man. It's a difficult one. I'm going to go through this poll in a second because we've had quite a lot of votes. So if you've not voted, get your votes in. Listen, big up to Sam Miles, mate. He's got his head like this. But big up to Sam, man, becoming a YouTube member. Thank you very much, bro, for helping support me, man. And welcome to the squad. Link is in the description. Big up Sam with his rotated head. Let's have a look at this poll. Do you want Manchester City to sign Eze? Was the question in the poll for you guys. 57% of people in the chat say they do want Manchester City to sign Eze. 43% of people say no. So it is quite split. Slight majority saying yes, they do want him to sign Eze. But 43% say no. I've seen this stuff about Pep, by the way. He's had an injury. He's had an operation or whatever. Routine operation or back problem. Yeah, sweet. He'll be fine. Pep Guardiola will not be on the touchline until after the international break, following surgery on a back problem. Manchester City confirmed. Oh, Juanma Lillo, man. Juanma Lillo is back though, so it's chilling. So yeah, that is it Sheffield United and Fulham we've got. Yeah, no, I don't think that's a massive issue. I don't think it's a massive issue, to be honest with you. But yeah, look, Eze, interesting one. Will we get? Because obviously at the moment this is early stages. It's only Tommy that said Eze at the moment. We've had no sort of official journalist come out and say Manchester City are in for Eze. But Tommy was early on the whole the Olmo thing. You know, he said it in July, City are interested in him. And we know that was true. So we're getting our scouting in early. I might do a reaction video to his best goals and moments to see what he's about. But listen, keep your comments coming in. I'm going to put some of your comments on screen now about Eze. So let's have a look what you guys are saying. I know about Pep. Yes, CMC. Giannis says, guys, we need Barella, who has goals and assists for the same money and is a centre mid, not an attacking midfielder. Our attacking midfielder is Foden, says Giannis. So not a massive fan of Eze by the sounds of it. Let's see what others. Keep your comments coming in, guys, on Eze and sort of the midfield situation. Beware, it says Olmo and Wirtz are dream signings, but are both very happy where they are. True. The transfers would be complicated at this stage of the window, and the price for either of them would be big. 100%. Let's have a look what other stuff is saying. Cameron says Olmo is better, cheaper, more versatile, more likely to settle in, etc. This makes no sense for fuck's sake. So Cameron not particularly happy. But DF World says he will fit that Eze team like a glove, man. So sounds like you're happy for that. So let's see what else you guys are saying. Eze is a baller. Would be world class at City, says Alicia. But Benno says, I can't justify 90 million plus on Eze. Fuck that. Well, that's the thing. It's a lot of money. Luke says we should have got Maddison, Tonali, Paqueta, but none worked for whatever reason. But can't really see 90 million for Eze. Sure. I mean, what was his? Let me go on his transfer marked estimated value. Has him 40 million euros. He's 25, 26 in June. He's only just turned 25. So he's just turned 25. His best season in the Premier League was 2 years ago. Oh, no, last year, sorry. He got 10 goals, 4 assists. Previous best was 4 goals, 6 assists. I just don't see 90 million. I see 50, 60 million here. But the market's screwed, isn't it? The market is screwed. So what can you do? What can you do? What can you say? I don't know, man. I don't know. Have I seen the Pep news? Yeah, I've seen the Pep news, bro. Yeah, so there we go. I'm interested to see now. Now, obviously, we've got the Doku deal pretty much done, which is great. How quickly we move on this midfielder. Because I said yesterday, we don't really have to move rapid on this. because there's only 2 games now before the internet. No, there's 1 game. I think there's 1 game now before the transfer market shuts. Sheffield United, and they're not going to play in that because that's on Saturday or Sunday. So the question is, for me, are they going to take the time and really work out who's the best? Are they going to get some interest? Are they going to speak to Palace? How much for Eze? Are they going to speak to Inter Milan? How much for Barella? And get sort of interest, sort of understanding of how much some of these players. Check out Wirtz, man. Wirtz is going to be a difficult one, I think. I think that's probably the most difficult out of the lot. But Eze is going to be tricky. LB, why would a club sell their big player this late on in the window with barely any time to replace them? Also, clubs know they'll have cash, so will they get rinsed? Well, that is true, and that's why you got to get your business done early on in the season. Whoever we buy, we're going to be massively overpaying, right? We're going to overpay for whoever we get, but the facts are we have to overpay because we need a player. Unless you think we don't need a midfielder, but I think we do. So, all I'd say is, unless we go for Vega, unless we go for Gabri Vega, who I don't know if you guys seen this last night, but Fabrizio Romano tweeted that Gabri Vega deal. I don't know if it's been updated this morning. So if I've missed something this morning, then apologies. But Gabri Vega to Napoli has hit a sort of wall. Okay, so here we go. So it seems like there's been some sort of development on this. So basically, last night, there are issues for Gabri Vega deal between Napoli and Celta Vigo. Despite a verbal agreement on Friday, travel was also booked. We're closing the deal, Benitez also said, but Vega didn't travel to Napoli yet, as club tried to change the conditions immediately. So there was issues. However, this morning he said Napoli and Celta Vigo in contact again today to discuss the issues of the Gabri Vega deal. All parties are working to have a final solution as soon as possible, as player didn't travel for medical yet. After changes in conditions of the deal, conversation was still ongoing. So it sounds to me like something clearly happened there between the two clubs. Obviously, someone's changed something. Should Manchester City potentially look at him? Apparently, he has a release clause of around 35 million quid, so it's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper than the current deals, but you're going to have to hijack the deal rapid. By the way, Hijack on Apple TV, class TV program. Unreal. You should definitely watch it. We need to hijack the deal, potentially. We know City are interested in Vega. Are we just going to let him walk out to Napoli on a transfer? Right, okay. I think that's pretty much it on Eze. We've gone through his stats. We've had a look at his injury. We've compared him to Ilkay Gundogan. We've done a poll in the chat in which 56% of people say you would take Eze at Manchester City. However, there's still a large amount of people, nearly half of the people, say you don't want Eze. So, show Vega's stats. Yeah, no worries. I'll show Vega's stats. I'll just spell his name. Gabri Vega. Right, here we go. Right, so 30 million euro transfer estimated. 21 years old. Spain international. Right-footed player. Stats for this season, played 1 game, only played 17 minutes. Last year, 36 games, 11 goals, 4 assists. If we do that per 90 minutes, 2,312 divided by 15, that gets you a goal or an assist every 154 minutes, which is decent. I think that was his breakthrough year. I don't think he played too much the year before. Nah, he's playing in whatever that league is. Not sure what that league is, to be honest with you. So they're decent numbers. They're decent numbers. To be honest with you, 30 million for Gabri Vega I think is a really, really good risk to reward buy. I really, really do. I think it's an incredible gamble. And if it doesn't come off, he's still going to have some value because he's only 21 and he's Spain. He's from Spain. So I think if whoever gets him, whether it be Napoli or someone goes in and hijacks the deal, I think it's going to be a fantastic purchase. I really, really do. Not good enough for fuck's sake, though, says Cameron. Well, this is the thing, bro. Who else could we get, man? Who else could we get? Danny Olmo. Yeah, but apparently they don't want to sell him. Difficult, man. Listen, all I'd say is subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. because we could get some breaking news at any point. And if we get breaking news, boom, we're live. And if you don't hit the notification bell, you might not get the notification from YouTube. So hit the notification bell, smash a like on the stream. And yeah, if you're watching this on replay, let us know your comments in the comment section below. If you have just joined us, bad timing, really, because I am about to wrap up. And a Barella compilation. A Barella compilation. Yeah, I seen that, Saeed, bro. I seen that. Pet breaking news. Hey, I said last night, by the way, listen, that Greenwood shit, yeah, that's not easy to talk about on streams. And I think you killed it yesterday, bro, with Tyrone, man. So big up, Saeed. Not an easy thing to talk about on streams, you know what I'm saying? It's a difficult topic to talk about, but I watched your stream. I thought you killed it, bro, honestly. Kept it real. And the chat on the whole was good as well, man. So big up, Saeed. Right, listen, I can stop waffling. If you're watching back on replay, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We could be live later on with some breaking news, so stay tuned. Hit the notification bell, smash a like on the stream. Have a great day, people, and I'll see you later on. See you in a bit.